Hello, hello. All right, how's that for introduction, right? um, this is completely improvised. I just thought we'd have a bit of a intro going on. I just grabbed the nearest soundbite I could. But I normally have this really awkward introduction where I kind of wait till the thing flashes green and I go, yeah, I'm live. But here we go. And that's kind of my trademark. I have no like sound bites or opening, especially for our like live Q&As where we just simply get straight into the news. But here we are. Welcome to our form check live. What am I doing? I completely forgot what I'm doing here. Because we've been doing like Q&As, we've been doing like live stream for gaming, and now we're doing the form check. So I'm losing track of time. I'm losing track of what we're doing, and it's just been really weird. I am currently rendering a video. It's just finished. That's fine. So I'm uploading that a bit later. I just shot my KOKTB. No, this is not probably archery fit. It probably isn't probably archery, but come on, that was pretty fun, right? But we'll take you some ideas of future live stream games. I'm trying to balance things like scripting, doing videos, and obviously doing my own shooting, about 100 a day, hopefully. But it's been a lot of fun recently, but hopefully you've been doing okay on your side. It's been very strange times. A lot of us are probably locked down or quarantine, and the restrictions are getting stricter and stricter. So hopefully wherever you are, you're staying safe, you're staying sane. And partially, and perhaps because of this, there's been a large amount of requests for form checks, both because I kind of announced this for once rather than just doing it on the spot, but perhaps a few people are having a bit of jitters from not having coaching, so I'm perhaps the closest substitute. With me today is our trusty overbowed Mandarin Duck Black Hunter, 50 pound. That's way too heavy for demonstration, but it's the only bow I have here right now. The rest of them, I just sorted out all my bows. For those who need to catch the official list, I've published a list of my quarantine archery videos. I've got about 40 official bows, plus some unofficial ones. So I've got plenty to work with. I hope to do a different bow each day. But that said, I don't have all the bows here. But we're not here for the quarantine archery, we're here for the form check. So we've got a ton of people who sent things in. I mean, I honestly, how many tabs do I have? I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people, I think. That's multiple videos. It is probably the busiest form checked so far. So it's going to be a lot of learning experiences. And of course, we've got a few of our special guests with us today. We've got Eliza. Welcome back to the stream. Eliza was with us last time, and there's been some updates. We also have Tom Williams, who I think is part of our feedback today as well. So I reckon we'll go straight to the ones we're here right now, so that way we can give you immediate feedback. And then we'll go from there. So should we go for Tom or should we go for Eliza? Well, Eliza said hello first, alright? So let's go for Eliza. We'll get the thing up here. I've got so many tabs. I'll show you how many tabs I've opened right now, right? Just to show you. You're welcome, Seth. I've got like this many tabs on top here, so it's pretty insane. Oh, you've probably seen worse. Primarily because look, I'm a teacher, and teachers have pretty weird like screens, but we're working here. So this isn't so much a form check as it is an update video. So there's not a lot of form-ish. I've seen it just before. It's a bit unconventional. Just to explain what's happening, Eliza has just bought herself a second-hand bow. I believe it's a Hoyt. Very nice, iconic design there. That T-bar is, the tech bar is iconic of a lot of Hoyt bows. That's cute. What's happening here is that she has she shot I think 20 pound or 24 pound or 22 pound, and this one is a 36 pound bow. So she's expressed a bit of concern that this bow is a little on the higher weight, which is fair enough. So because this isn't a form check per se, it's mostly just talking about different things. I'm going to examine the parts where we do see some of the things she's working on. I can't remember which bow this is with. So that's the lighter bow. Okay, so let's see. So she's been talking about her anchor point moving and her shoulder alignment. I'll just sound off at the moment. So let's hear it. Let's see what she has to say.
Hyper flexible, so my joints kind of fall out of place pretty easily.
Okay, so she has the pop of the collarbone. I think quite a few people have the pop. I might know why too, but I know that's not unique. Some people have that experience.
My draw arm or draw shoulder. Okay.
Ooh, that's interesting alignment. All right, we'll talk
So
about
you
that.
can actually hear my bone pop.
Oh, let's hear that.
Okay. Okay, so you can actually hear my bone pop.
I didn't hear that. Let's try it again.
Okay, so you can actually hear my bone pop here. I'm gonna try to put the volume higher. Sorry if it's kind of gross, but I just thought it was really weird.
Oh, I hear it. I hear it. Yeah, it's like that bubble wrap sort of sound.
I can drop my shoulder if I don't anchor, like this. But as soon as I anchor, I kind of collapse, I guess, because, like I said, I can do that, but I can't really fit my head anywhere.
Okay.
I'm sorry if you're not really supposed to.
I think I get this.
Like this, but as soon as I anchor, I kind of collapse, I guess.
Okay, this is a good self-reflection. We don't normally have self-reflections, but this is interesting. So as soon as she anchors, she feels she collapses, and hence with this elbow. Okay, this is fixable, but this is like playing detective. We put the pieces together.
Like this, but as soon as I anchor.
Okay, I think that's the crucial part. Whoa, that is a really interesting video. Wow, thanks Eliza for that. That is a really, really interesting diagnosis, especially a self-reflection here. Morning, by the way, 8-bit, welcome. That is really interesting. Okay, I would probably need a light bow for this, so give me a second. I think the Black Hunter is stupidly excessive. Give me a second. Yeah, always keep at least one of these light bows around with the fiberglass youth bow today. Okay, strung by hand like a boss. So, what happened? Okay, this is really interesting. So, just to try and repeat this, I'll get my chair out of the way. So, just to repeat this, so the problem that Eliza is expressing is that having a problem with the ankle collapse. So, she comes into full draw, or she tries to full draw, but she has that crack on the shoulder here when she reaches full draw and anchors. So that is something I've definitely seen before. And there's the collapse. So we anchor, or we pull, and then we anchor, and there's a little collapse. So that means there's quite a few things happening in this process, which you probably want to consolidate moving forward with each step. So we've got problems with shoulder alignment, we've got perhaps a problem with anchor, and we've got a problem with the holding pattern or the holding position. So this is, yeah, look at me, right, this is rather interesting. So where do I begin with this? If I was your coach, and by the way, if you know what a coach does, this is one of your questions in your email. A coach works individually with an athlete. So an instructor is someone who teaches a class. They give instructions to a class. If you think about it in, say, a martial arts school, you might have your sensei or your teacher who teaches everyone, but then most of the drills and classes are run by instructors. So an instructor is more club level, they run classes. A coach is someone you would work with one-on-one, either on a professional basis where you pay them, or through one-on-one coaching through other means. Hello Thomas, by the way. San Jose. I have family in San Jose, funny enough. I don't have a big family, but I definitely have family in San Jose. So we're glad you're checking in from California. What I would do with Eliza, I would focus on the first half of the shot process, because if you don't establish the right alignment from the beginning, then each part's going to be harder and harder. Hence why you have that crack. Now, I will explain this in KSL terms because I think it explains it quite well. But whatever process you use, it's going to be a very similar foundation. So you already know the fundamentals of the shot. So you already know your stance. So what you should work in is to separate each part of the process between the start position and the anchor position. Now, depending on what process you use exactly, you may encounter different terminology in different steps. Some are conscious, some are subconscious. I'll walk through what I would do. So in KSL, we do this. So you have your set position where you have your grip, your pose, posture, and your hook in the right position. Then we go to what's called a setup position. So in setup, we don't draw the bow, we put tension on it, and we set our shoulders in the position we want. Now, what you're doing at the moment is you tend to, from what I see, lift the bow and then figure out how to pull it back. Whereas in a good shot process, you already have the shoulders in position before you draw. So the draw isn't go from here to here and figure out where to anchor. You're already in alignment. So you can see from this side over here, what's going on is that in set position, my posture is right. In setup, I already align. I kind of coil my torso. I tense up here. I use my upper body to rotate. So I'm already setting my shoulders in position, and then I draw, and then I anchor. And that's the order you want to get it in. So set your shoulders. We call it the gun barrel in KSL. So set your shoulders. Let's try again. Set up, load, anchor, and then that's your process. So you don't want to have too many movements in the same sequence. Okay, so if you are going from here, then up and then draw, that's a lot of smaller steps which you may or may not get in the right order. So with too many variables, you're going to experience a poor alignment or misposition your shoulders, and that's why you're kind of working excessively to do this. That might explain the elbow pop. There's a bit too much rotation, and you're doing a bit too excessively. This is definitely something people have reported happening to them, and in the long term, with heavy bows and prolonged usage, this may cause strain and injury. So we're trying to reduce the excess movement and make it a simpler step-by-step process where you take the time to load onto the right muscles step by step. So my advice to you is to remember, before you draw the bow, get your shoulders in position. So you have set and set up, set and set up. It's quite a long starting position when you're at setup position. So if we take the bow again, I'm just sitting down here. But let's say instead of starting here, then pulling back, when you go from set to setup, you're already quite in here. So when you draw, all you do is just that much, and then you anchor. Okay? So it's quite a long position, load, anchor. So you're kind of drawing and then anchoring. So you kind of smash the string into your face and then you slide it beneath your jawline. That's what you're meant to do. That's probably what you're having trouble conceptualizing. Let's see, you're trying to memorize it. I put my shoulders in line with drawing twist my torso from the very beginning. Now, like I said before, you don't twist it at the beginning. You maintain your pose first. Then you get the position. Then you draw. Then you anchor. Okay? Those are the steps. Set up, or further back, set up, load, anchor. And then you can work from there. Okay? I wasn't paying attention to your question, Seth. Otherwise, yes, I recognize you. Hello, Seth. You've been mentioned. What's the question, by the way? I have a question. My bow feels okay. It's reached its limit. And when I draw slightly past shoulder, it's my own. Oh, okay, there we go. That's the question you answered. It's mostly just you getting to that position there. So hopefully that helps, Eliza. I think that mostly covers the question that you had. Wow, this weird on my headphones on. So hopefully that helps. If you have any more questions, feel free to ask here. Sorry about that. But hopefully that addresses the main one there. I think you're doing well in terms of your reflection and your learning and your thinking through your process. And I think the path forward for you is to consciously work through more the steps so they become subconscious and you know what to walk through each time. When you go through things automatically, you often don't pay attention to what you're meant to do, and your body basically takes over. And this is what Coach Lee taught us. Your body is dumb. I think I said it last time. Your body is stupid. Tell your body what to do. So don't just go, woo, I'm in, and then what do I do now? The key for consistency for target shooting is alignment. So if you can remember to include a step where your shoulders are in line before you draw, not after or during, but before, then the rest of the structure should fall into place. That's my feedback. Hello to Miroslav, by the way. Welcome. I've got your video loaded soon, so that'll be upcoming. We just finished with Eliza. And what's chat saying? Let me pop the chat window open. Hello everybody, by the way. Welcome. Let's see. Oh, did you hear my Seth? That's interesting. What style do you do? Because I've been following a few HEMA people, and it's been really fun to watch people do HEMA. So welcome to our chat, of course. Sami, sorry, I've tried to get the gun barrel established, having a hard time to get in setup, but if I get in the set phase, I don't get it. No, that's fine. Quite a few people who learn it feel like they have to get it during the set position rather than setup. You don't have to get it in setup. It's supposed to be done that way because you don't need to do it here too soon because you kind of put yourself under a bit of tension over there. But a lot of people, when I say definitely Jake Kaminsky, when he started doing this, due to his alignment and injury, he probably has to do it sooner, but you learn to get it in setup rather than in set position. So if you're just learning, many people will do it beforehand, and I started doing that too, and I think it helps to feel what the alignment should be, but you don't have to do so then. Is there anything bad about it? Not necessarily. I find personally it's not an optimal movement to have a set position where you're already in alignment and then you come up there. I don't think you really feel the twist or the torque as much, but whatever works for you and you get in the right position, then you do that. Seth, what quiver do I enjoy? I like my field quiver. Anything which points backwards, because I like the feeling of pulling up from here, then swing coming through like that. It feels a bit more natural. I use all quivers, back quivers, forward-facing hip quivers, rear-facing field quivers, but I find the field quivers to be the most practical. It doesn't get in the way as much, plus it feels nicer to pull it by the shaft and then slide it through. That's what she said. Let's keep on moving. We'll talk about the stuff later. Let's go to our next one, because quite a few people are lined up at the moment. So we've got Miroslav here. Tom, are you still here, Tom? Because I want to go through you next. All right, you said hi just before. If you're here, say something. Let's talk to Tom. So we've got, because we have Miroslav here. Yes. I'm just double checking I've got the right one opened up because we're quite a lot of people. Yep, Miroslav is here. And then we've got Tom. Let's do Tom because I love Tom's video. Tom, are you here? We'll do Tom right now. Okay, Miroslav, you're next. Let's do Tom. Because I love Tom because Tom is fat bloke shoots. Tom's a legend. Okay, let's give Tom our support here. Now Tom has two sections. He's a trad shooter, so he shoots longbow, this hybrid longbow. He also shoots barebow with the modern style with the low anchor point. So there's actually 2 in 1. He nearly tricked me there. I thought what a nice form check. It's actually 2 form checks. So he's sneaking in 2, and I love the angle. So let's watch Tom. Let's see him shoot. I've definitely been having fun shooting longbow myself recently, especially in quarantine. Now, Tom's primary style is traditional bow. So this is what he's more confident with, and you can probably see it shows. Well, this angle kind of reveals something. The rest of the shots are actually pretty good. The angles are nice. I was watching this earlier. There's a bit of movement there. But that's actually a pretty solid shot. So let me explain before we go further what I initially saw when I was watching this. And this is what I used to do all the time. I'm much better now. So I'm not sure what the draw weight is. It's a bit on the heavier side, I think. But you see, it takes a bit of time to settle into the shot there. So there's a bit of micro expansion or micro creep. You're going back and forward on the draw. So you can see at anchor, there's a bit of compression. You can just see there. All right, let's see that last shot one more time. You can see at full draw, there's a slight compression before the shot. So that's why there's a slight movement on the tip of the arrow. That normally tells us that it's not a clean hold and follow through. Now this sequence from the back and every subsequent shot doesn't seem as bad. Alright, so it might be a warm-up, you might be getting used to the stretch and the feel, but I feel these shots are much better. So watch the front of the arrow, that stabilizes only a tiny amount of creep, and the shot comes out cleanly. So it stabilizes before the shot happens. So it seems you've warmed up here. So I think this is a pretty good demonstration. It's very slight. I mean, this is like nu.sensei levels of slight here. This is really not a problem. I love the angle. How'd you get up here? What's up here? Did you climb the shed? Who's filming this? It's, literally, are you standing up here? Or is that a tripod or something? That's funny. By the way, I should watch the back tension. This is classic push-pull, which you often do with traditional archery. And we want to see these come together. That's what you do in traditional push-pull with this kind of bow. So what I'm looking at the moment here, Tom, is we're watching this elbow position. I think that twitch there, it's a bit of a physical tick that you have. I think that's going to let you down a bit in drawing. So I know you're loading there. I think that movement is it's going to affect your direction of your pull. So you're not going to come as cleanly, anchor and release cleanly. I think that's contributing to the micro twitches in your shot. So that's why I think these initial shots might be a little loose. These shots feel a little tighter, but you might want to watch out for where you anchor this, okay? You might want to establish a more confident draw. You know where you're drawing to, you focus on the draw, then you anchor, and you settle into the shot. But for the most part, we see he maintains back tension. You can see through the t-shirt, the muscles come together, so we're not losing back tension. This is actually really important for those who are watching, because a few of us who've started, especially with light bows, often... oh, it's a flat bow, okay. 50-pound flat bow, very nice. Your beard is beautiful, absolutely. So where was I? I made a point before that many people starting out, in the last form check video, 3 people shooting light bows. It's very easy to shoot and forget to activate back tension. So people just pull with their arms and then just let go. So I think what Tom's doing here is actually a good example of what it would look like when shooting traditional bows, especially. It's the use of the back muscles. I mean, I'm glad we have this back view. And because, like Tom said, this is a 50-pound flat bow, you need to. It's really hard to shoot without using your back. So we've got a nice stable front low shoulder. The back is engaged, and we come through. This is a nice, confident shot. I think this part here is looking really good. Like I said, the only thing I'll probably point out in this sequence is perhaps kind of consolidate on the anchor point and draw here. You see on some shots, it gets a little loose. But I think for the most part, your trad shooting is on point there. Alright, it's confident, you're driving the shot through, you feel good about it. And I think that's all that really matters for the shot here. Right, everything else is instinctive or using your gap shooting or whatever, but you're really pulling it through. I think, of course, as fatigue sets in, you might find yourself kind of struggling a bit more with consolidating it. But for the most part, it seems pretty solid. This is what a trad shot looks like. Very iconic view there. Let's do one more to sequence. Yeah, I think you know what you're doing with your shoulders there. So that's a really good sequence. Yeah, perhaps consolidate. Now, this is what gets interesting. From what Tom told me, he's been shooting at national level and is doing quite well in ranking. So, this is a modern Barebow. So we have to establish very quickly right now that he's not shooting with the string walking method. So he's shooting with the glove, he's not shooting with the tab, and he's not string walking. Most people who compete with Barebow will string walk. It's not required, but it's generally seen as the most accurate method without sights. This is fine too. Low anchor point, I imagine your gap shooting, you have your reference point. As long as your references are exact and you know how to get them each time, that's fine. I'm not sure if you explored string walking before, but if you haven't, you might want to try string walking. But otherwise, you're looking pretty good here. Alright, so let's keep on watching this. So I'm just watching the chat there. But that's not a mandatory requirement. I do feel though that your trad form is better than your Barebow form. This is a 40-pound Barebow recurve. That is a Barebow recurve. It has the weights in the middle there. Man, Tom's serious. Alright, let's watch the form. This is the part where I think it needs the most work. Bit of wind there, so I'm not too concerned about how he's shaking. So there is a bit of crosswind. It's interesting because the technique is quite different. He's shooting below the gin with a side anchor. But obviously it's a lighter bow as well. So you can see he's reactivating the same muscles. But this is different. See, when you watch both these shots, there's a bit of a difference here, alright? So, alright, let's compare shoulders. Alright, so 50-pound flat bow. This is a much more confident shot. You might agree with me, Tom, too. Like, you're probably more confident if you're trad. And I feel the same way. It's so liberating. But here, we've got this is picture perfect form, alright? If you look at a diagram of bone-on-bone alignment, this is picture perfect. Elbow is good, wrist is good, front shoulder is perfect. Back alignment is perfect. We've got this zigzag going on. This is perfect form. But when we look at the back view for your Barebow, something is different here, right? So using a lower anchor, but notice how we have this line here, right? So you're probably shooting a lower target. If you are, then that's going to affect the way you shoot. You are pointing downwards, right? Oh yeah, okay. If you're shooting a lower target, that's going to affect you quite a bit there. So if you take a look at this snapshot, what we're seeing here is we're seeing a bit of a lift. So this shoulder is a bit too high. And it may be because you're aiming at a lower target. Alright, so if you are aiming lower, you might have to lean forward at the hips, and you should know this too. You should trad, but you need to lean forward a bit because you need to get the shoulder down and in line. So this is in line on a flat plane, but you're shooting low. So you can see the arrows pointing downwards, so therefore it's going this way, and your shoulder's being driven up because your hand's gone down, but your shoulder stayed up. Alright, and I think that's going to affect your alignment here. Alright, you can see with the back view on the trad side. Again, we have picture perfect, and we're shooting flat this time, so the target's flatter or more directly ahead. So this is a stronger position. This one is a weaker position because the elbow, the shoulder is a bit too high for this one. So not sure where you're aiming exactly. We're aiming down here somewhere. I feel that in this case you've got to lean forward just a bit if you're aiming at a lower target. That's my immediate feedback. In terms of the rest of your process, because that's a little hunched. You can still shoot well with it, by the way. It's just a little hunch. I feel they're putting a bit more strain here than you need to, but you might not feel it as much of a 40-pound. I'm definitely pulling through quite hard there. Alright, this is very good. And by the way, fantastic video. This is a great sequence of angles to work with. Alright, and let's get one more bit of feedback. I mean, we're not using KSL, but if you're interested in KSL, then what I could recommend something. You don't have to. because you have to separate step here. That you're doing the right thing in terms of getting your shoulders in position. What I recommend you do is when you get into this position, you actually have to string a bit more further back when you tense. That's what I said to Eliza before. So rather than start fully forward and try and pull it back, it may be a bit smooth and ergonomic to already put some tension on the string. And again, if you shoot target style KSL, it's a little further back, but if you're starting from here, it's a bit more of an extra exertion to pull it back because you're kind of not sure where to establish. So just to demonstrate what I'm talking about here, oops, sorry, no, splash. So what I'm trying to establish here, usually the light bow, is rather than pull from here to here, because that's quite a long draw, again, all things considered. So there are more things that can go wrong here. So you're still going to use the draw here to here. You're activating all your muscles in one shot. So you have your alignments. You've gone from the set position to the setup position, but instead of starting here, when you get a setup, start a little further back. You already have the tension. So when you draw, all you do is draw down and up. There's much less workload when you start further back here. So set position, you've got setup position, you're doing right now, but you're starting way over here. And that's something a lot of, I find a lot of novices do, because you kind of try to keep alignment and then pull it back straight in, whereas you don't have to do that. You can come up and then have a deeper starting position and then come in and upwards like that. So that's what I probably recommend for you, not to start so far forward and minimize the amount of effort you have. That's probably the main thing I'd probably say about you in your form. That's my gaming. So I think that would cover it. So I missed your comment before. I don't want to watch that. Sorry. I missed the comment from Tom before. You don't find string walking comfortable, obviously. Different for traditional, obviously, we can tell that. And low target, yeah, that makes sense. Okay, that's your long distance technique, which makes sense. Obviously, we do long distance. We don't really see this sometimes, but long distance, we're shooting like 70 to 90 meters. You tend to do this. That's true. Yep. So we tend to be a bit more hunched up and we shoot it up like that. Whereas if you're shooting short distance, it feels different. So that's why it's quite hunched up like that, because you're shooting low with long distance form. So at long distance, this is fine. But at short distance, it looks a little off. That makes more sense to me. But yeah, no, you look alright. And I think if you adjust the way you get into position, then you should be okay with your process. Otherwise, you're doing quite well there. Hope that helps. If you have any more questions, of course, ask. And we're happy to do what we can. But good work on that one. I had a question before from one of our viewers. Colin, as a complete newbie, what is string walking? String walking is an aiming method. It's a method where instead of using sights, because with barebow you can't use sights, hence why it's barebow, what we are trying to do is we're trying to find a way to aim. Now, people are typically either aim with a gap method, so you have the arrow, you measure where it would be in relation to a target, and you aim that way. With string walking, the arrow is set. It's set on the bow, but instead of using a split finger hook, you actually measure how far down you hold the string. So you pull an anchor to the same position. I wish I had an arrow with me, but I don't have it right now. I've got plenty with it. Who cares? Doesn't matter. But let's say at 10 meters, which is very close for shooting, instead of holding it like this, I will hold the string perhaps down here. I will then anchor to my normal position, and the arrow will be higher on my eye. Now, that isn't really the point. The point is that when I'm looking at a target, I always have the same reference point. So the arrow is going to be in the center of the target. So instead of moving the arrow up or down, I'm moving my fingers up or down. So at 10 meters, which is very short, it might be all the way down here. In fact, some tabs, I've got a tab here from the Archer's Workshop in Sydney. So some tabs have markings like this. Alright, so you can actually see, you can mark, you can't actually write on here, but you can memorize where it would be. So if you, for example, are using this, I mean, when you're just learning, you might have a rough system. Like for me, when I shoot barebow, because I don't normally shoot barebow, I would say at 30 meters, it's 3 under, but touching the arrow. If it's 10 meters, it might be all 3 fingers plus 1. That's how I count. So 3 plus 1, so 4 finger width to go downwards. There are more precise methods, such as these markings or stitches on a tab, and that's what you can do too. So if I'm actually going to calibrate this, I might go, okay, so the string should be on the 5th marking on this tab, for example. So I would go, all right, so we start from here, and then I look at my tab, I go, all right, it should be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you go down there, and that's your 10 meter sight setting. So it's basically the same as using a sight, except you're shooting in a very unconventional off-center way. So that's generally seen as the most effective or most consistent way of aiming a barebow. That is the reason why most competitive barebow shooters, whether you see so in, say, the Lancaster Classic or in field archery, they all shoot barebow, shoot with a string walking, and often at the distance they shoot, they'll be quite low under the string or just under the arrow, and you see them come across like this. So the string comes across their nose, and you see them wear like band-aids or tape on the nose, because big noses will slap that string, so it kind of stings and you see marks. The right disadvantages of it, mainly being that it is asymmetrical, so you're not using the bow optimally. You have to set the bow up for the distance you want to shoot and then compensate from there. It's an acceptable loss. From you have a guaranteed aim point, but you have a slightly asymmetric release. Now, most bows today made from modern materials are so consistent that it almost doesn't really matter, so they're synchronized quite closely. But for trad bows, there might be a bigger difference in the speed of each limb if you shoot off center. It's a bit more stressful on some limbs than others, but modern barebow tends to use string walking a bit more frequently. But of course, as Tom mentioned before, he's using the normal method, which works fine, but the top tier are most likely shooting with string walking. Hope that helps, by the way. I'll give you in a moment, Miroslav, by the way, because for all the people in chat at the moment, what's happening? Sami, is it fair to say that the draw hand shouldn't go in front of the bow arm shoulder line? Let me dissect this visually. The draw hand shouldn't go in front of the bow arm. Help me out here, right? I'm not sure. I can visualize this. I'm trying to imagine what you're saying. So you don't want the draw hand to go... I'm confused, help me. Am I... paraphrase, please. I think I know what you're saying, but I'm just... I'm not quite sure exactly what you're trying to tell me here. But Sophie, you're most welcome. Welcome to the channel. I hope you enjoy your bow. What bow did you buy, by the way? I always want to be curious about this one here. Excellent, Tom. I'm glad that helped you out there. I mean, you're doing really good. Obviously, you're competing, so you have a lot of experience in the field and in competition. It's all about optimizing your setup, so that way each shot feels like less effort and more consistent. Let's see. 8-bit. Considering the situation, I'm currently in the process of setting up a target in the back garden. I can't find for that's what's the range of recommended practice. Any range, really. If you're doing form, you can practice at like 2 meters. Alright, if you're only doing form, all you need is to go through a shot process. Same conditioning, you don't need to train distance. You just, like, the shorter the better. If you're training with distance, then whatever you can comfortably fit in your backyard. All right, if you can't go anywhere because of the situation, then practice what you can. Like, I don't really think you need to simulate range. If you do, then like you can modify your target, shrink it. Use whatever distance you want, 5 meters, 10 meters, up to you. So you simulate what you need to simulate. Oh, it's been 40 minutes. Well, I've only done 2 form checks. Let's do Miroslav. Okay, so that's Tom. Hope it helps. Miroslav, you're next. This is yours, right? Yes. Alright, so let's watch next one. Whoa, alright, here we go. Okay, we have Bo. This is very fancy. Alright, this is, like I said, I've got 6 people. This is a massive form check, so let's have a look here. Alright. Nice high quality video. This is good form check material. We can see a few things which are working well and a few things which we can probably refine. That's alright. I might come back to this. I think we can just from this angle. There are a few things we can probably touch base on. Most things look pretty good. Stance is pretty good. Hips are good. The alignment's pretty good. That was a nice shot. That last shot was pretty good. That came out pretty cleanly. Okay, let's get to the next angle. I think my computer's lagging. What's going on? Too many videos. Oh, I pause. That's why. Duh. Oh, okay. That. I think we saw that before, but this might reveal something else too. So the back view is super important. We can tell a lot from the diagonal views. The back view is very important. So let's see. What we'll go. Miroslav. This is a point we fix. Yeah, you're kind of off center here, but where's the arrow line? The arrow line is kind of around here. Okay, so your arrow line is good because you don't want to be too far back. So it's okay to have it slightly away in the front of your center of mass, so it counteracts the weight of the pull, right? So that's good positioning of the bow. Yeah, elbow though seems to be slightly out of line. Optimally, you want this elbow to be at least behind the arrow line or slightly past it. But you're kind of a little far forward here. If you can stretch out just a bit more, get this elbow in position, you might find it a bit easier. I mean, your motion is good. You know how to click and finish the shot. But the elbow's just a little far out there. It's a bit more lateral movement. Let's do a back view. Oh, front view. Oh, this is good. And you can barely see on the side view, but the elbow is sticking a bit to the right. Just a bit. It's not that much, really. But if I was a coach and I was watching this, I'd probably try to work with you to get this a little further back behind your head. Okay, so that should be closer to where your ear is, rather than sticking out that way. That's my first point there. Okay, the second point has to do with the follow through. This is a compound problem. We want an honest follow through. We don't want a floppy one. We want an honest one. Something which is genuinely showing the expansion. So I've been using a clicker. I heard the clicker go off there. Coach's ear. You hear these things. So there is a clicker being used. I would expect so. Okay. What's your draw weight, Miroslav? Let's watch it again. I will do the same shot over now. I'm just paying attention to a couple of things. I'm just watching the draw first. So, I'm just watching how this hand moves. Just starting high, that's good. Yeah, that's okay. So I'm right-clicking a bit by accident. That's okay. Because it looked like there's a bit of excessive movement. So it's kind of going up, then down, up again. That's actually not bad. Okay, that's not bad. Let's see the elbow position. It's a little high. The reason I'm saying this is that when we examine alignment, actually, let's put the shadow. It's actually, oh, it's fine. Elbow's fine. Never mind. It's not high. It's just the shadow's pointing downwards, but the hand's going this way. So for those who are wondering, when we measure alignment, the pressure point is here at the base of the grip, where the thumb is contacting the bow. All right, that's where you're holding it. It's not the arrow line. It's the pressure point here. So if you draw a straight line from the thumb to the elbow, it should be pointing at it. So this is a dark angle, but the wrist is actually right there. So that's a pretty good line there. Nice draw force line. That should be just right there. That's pretty good. Now, what I want to advise here is activating the shot or executing the shot. So your setup looks pretty good here. Okay, so for the most part, what you're doing up to this point is pretty good. All right, I recommend, your posture, you're leading a bit forward this way. There's a slight arch back here, so you might want to keep the back a little straighter, tuck the tummy in, and kind of hunch over just a bit more. Just to explain what I'm talking about here, I want you to imagine that you are having a humble stance. Okay, 45 pounds, thank you. So imagine you're being humble. So being proud, you have your back sticking out, like the chest puffing out, and you have an arch back. So the proud stance is for shooting, and like that's a proud stance. You don't want to do that. You can probably see it very clearly here, right? You don't want to go like that and then lean forward and do this. All right? A lot of people do the arch back. That's a common form fault, and it puts a lot of pressure on your lower back. Now, what you want to do is instead of having proud, right, that's a proud stance, right? Instead of being proud, you want to be humble. All right, with humble, that's tucked in, the shoulders slightly down. You're bound to your sensei. Okay, so that's humble. Proud, proud, humble. Drop your chest. So that's one immediate thing I probably get you to think about when you're shooting, is that chest and that back arch. See, it's not bad, but it's slightly arch, slightly puff. So there's a bit of a pride thing here, if that makes any sense. Okay, so you probably tuck this in and kind of hunch over just a bit more to drop your chest when you shoot. You can see it here too. The angle doesn't show it, but there's a reason why we have this almost strange alignment going on, where we're kind of off center. One, the camera might be a little crooked, but it's also we're not quite fully aligned, and the shadows throw me off too. Man, that line is amazing. That's cool. It's actually straight. Okay, but the last thing to talk about is the execution. I got sidetracked there. Now, I want you to think of this when you shoot. When you reach this point where you're ready to expand and the clicker goes off, remember to push with this part of your body. All right, don't pull back with your hand till the clicker goes off. All right, and you see the fall through is a little limp. Now this is a 45-pound bow. There should be a snap. For a light bow with like light stabilizers, I expect it to be a little floppier. But for a 45-pound bow, I would expect a bit more determination, more commitment to the shot. I don't think I really see it here as strongly. Because you're using a finger sling, obviously, and that's most of your shots have this follow through. The follow through, you don't aim for a perfect follow through, but you can see there's a lack of confidence. There's something hesitant in that follow through. You're clipping yourself. The final part of your shot, I reckon you can fine tune. So just to show you again, I'll do it from this angle too, because this is a really good angle to work with here. All right, remember, hunch over just a bit, humble, tuck it in, chest down. Because you see, it's such a minuscule thing, but it feels like you're not activating the front part of your body. I'm being vague here, but that's not a bad shot, but it could be better. And this is how I would make it better. What I would do is, like I said before, push here. Okay, so rather than pull, so you're usually at the point of your clicker. So instead of pulling through with the rear arm, your hand's not moving, but instead of pulling through and opening up with this arm, don't forget to push forward with this arm. It's meant to be 50-50. Most archers who are expanding 50-50 actually aren't. It's actually biased towards the rear. I've said a lot of my shooting because this is a fault I have. And I remember to push forward. Not because I need to, but because I'm unbalanced. So I'm actually compensating for the tendency to get this back too far. So use this part of your body to push forward in the shot. Let's get a bow and do so. So again, rather than anchor and then pull back using the rear arm, the drawer hand, push forward using that front. Okay, so when you expand and you want to get to the clicker, the motion you want to activate, the muscle you want to activate, is this one here. So all things are in position. You've gone through your setup. Then use the front part here. Keep that strong and push forward from there. You can just see it on camera. It's very subtle. The expansion is very subtle. That's it. So from scratch, take it easy. Now let's go through all the steps. Set up, blah blah blah. Okay, and the expansion is push. Alright, push. Not pull back, but also push forward. And when you release with that motion, when you finish the shot by pushing it, activating this muscle group, then that follow through is a more honest follow through. It's a sincere follow through rather than wham, oh yeah, it swings downwards. It becomes wham, and the release becomes simultaneous. And that's my advice for you. Otherwise, looking good there. Hope that helps, Miroslav. That's what I think needs to work on. I think you're doing quite well in your work so far, and that will probably get you to next level. Okay. Wow, we're not halfway through yet. Really good stuff. Any questions, by the way? Just chuck questions while I'm here. Suck it in. I saw you bit this, John. Suck it in, fatty. I talk about Tom. Anyway, good work. Hope that helps there. Did you mention, Miroslav, your arrow rest collapsing? Arrow rest collapsing. Is your arrow rest loose? Is the screw on your rest too loose? Because if it collapses, if it sits down, then email me, Instapizza. The email is, I'll put it right now in chat. Oh, I'm tired. At gmail.com. Yeah, so I've had this problem before. Often, if your wrist is too loose, then a bit of the weight that comes from the arrow deflecting from your fingers and the motion of it will get to dip downwards. If you don't fix it, the wrist might snap. I've actually snapped quite a few arms because of this. So make sure that the wrist is correctly elevated and the screw is tight. All right. If you have to reset the wrist in each shot, it's not a technique problem. It's simply because your wrist hasn't been correctly set. So make sure you have proper clearance. It's not too far out or too far in. If it's too far in, you can't put the arrow on. But make sure that your wrist isn't too far out. Make sure it's not too far down, and make sure it's not pointing downwards. Try to keep it as close to the plunger button as possible, and make sure that the screw is tight. Okay, you might need to double check that you have the right Allen key, the right wrench, so you tighten that and it doesn't move. All right, I've had this problem before. Likely the cause was I was not slacking. I was not checking to see that the wrist was properly tightened. That's probably why. It's not a technique problem, it's an equipment problem. Hope that helps. Okay, you're right, Tony, lots of content tonight. Okay, next up we have man, I've got all this stuff from like Instagram as well. People keep submitting random things. I'm losing track of what I'm doing here, so let's delete the ones that have been sent. Eliza's done, Miroslav is done. Who are these people? Let's go to Super Honest. Okay. Super Honest has been with us for quite a while. He's sent in at least 2 or 3 form check videos. He normally shoots Olympic recurve and now has switched over to an OMP adventure. Hey, that's a different limb. Alright. Oh, nice. First blood. Thanks for showing us. Now we demonetized. Nice one. Alright. So, ooh, we're getting fancy with our arrows here. No clue, that's fine. So he's shot with us before. He's got good form from Olympic, and now he's shooting Barebow. So he's switching over. I'm not sure how much experience he has with the OMP. That's the same bow I have. And he's shooting 3 under Barebow. Okay. Yeah, the grip's fine with this. Just be careful when you're holding multiple arrows. I do it sometimes because I'm showing off. The reason why you be careful, you don't want to make sure you don't want to lose the grip because you're holding too many arrows. Otherwise, you're doing alright. So, that's a dark shot. We'll see it later. Alright, Tom, if you're still here, this is your thing. What would he do? Alright. Not shooting. So this like 10 meters, I think. So that's pretty. Oh, I like the illumination. Ooh. That's really handy shoot. Good. All right. Is it a light? I think it's a lighter bow. I was gonna ask, but I don't think it's in chat right now. I think it's a lighter bow where he normally shoots, but I'm not sure. Oh yeah, 10 yards says right there. Alright, let's do the grouping. Come on, show us the grouping. Let's give ahead. Good, all in the middle, right? Yeah, that's acceptable for 10 meters. Acceptable. Alright, so what would I address with Super Honest again? Yeah, Miroslav, yeah, it's... If there's play in it, maybe glue it a bit more. I mean, that'll prevent it, but it's a bit excessive. But yeah, it's pretty tough to. It shouldn't be moving on the shot. Sorry, I wasn't paying attention there. So let's watch this. This is the best angle. Let's see this. Not the bug again. I might as well see the bug again. Nice shot. Okay, so back to this. All right. So we're going through the motions. So Super Honest is. He's skilled enough with a bow. He knows the alignment, he knows the aim. This is mostly instinctive snap shooting. So at 10 yards, it's really hard to miss that black. So we're going a bit too quickly on the snapshot. If you are snap shooting, that's good, that's fine. But in terms of form, there are a few things I will watch out for here. So it's very quick on the shot. We haven't really anchored yet. Alright, so the body mechanics are automatic now. You're so used to the form that this is just repetition. It's what I do when I'm practicing. So it's very instinctive shooting. And that's fine. You're lined up, you smash that target, that's fine. But if I were to point out something to improve, it would be I would slow down, feel the anchor strongly, and make sure you execute a strong shot. Okay, that's a better one there. But we're seeing a lack of contact. So it's shooting 3 under. And I would really feel at this point, at this exact point here, and Tom, if you're here, verify for me here, because it's what you do too. Because you don't see the contact, right? So you're pulling through, touch, and then let go. And what I would do at this point, this exact point, is smoosh my face. Alright, I would smoosh that bad. That looks good. Yeah, slow down, I agree. Yeah, it's quite explosive. I would smoosh that, okay? So when I'm pulling... Oh, get up. Alright, what I recommend... Damn, headphones. Alright, so... When we're doing this, instead of coming in, and then let go right away, when you touch this, pull it back, smoosh. Like, get that anchor as tight as possible. Because it's good for 10 yards, it's too loose for further than that. So that grouping you got, it's good enough for 10 yards. But at your skill level, you should be getting like all touching, not on the black, on that center, but they should be like right on top of each other at 10 yards. Because that's really close distance. Smush the anchor take your time. Now again, if you're snap shooting or shooting instinctively, that's fine. That's part of your process. But if you want to become more consistent, smoosh your anchor point. Shooting 3 under, pull, get it right in there. If you just touch and go, it's not guaranteed to be the best possible shot. So you're looking quite good. Your form foundations and fundamentals are very strong, and we've known this through your last form checks. But like Tom said, and I agree, slow it down just a bit. Slow it down just a bit, and then get the anchor point as tight as you can. Okay, that's especially when you're shooting barebow. Let's have a look here. Pizza time. Did Pizza send me a video? There's Pizza's in chat right now. Did you send me something, Bob? Just let me know if you sent me something. So I'm just refreshing the email because we see anything new. Well, that's the feedback for Super Honest. I'll just delete that right now so don't forget. Looking good there. The next one has just been sent in. Oh, so many tonight. All right, this is Abraham Cheng. All right, let's look. Bing. So many videos today. This is great. Okay. Whew. All right, Abraham Cheng. Nice facial hair. It's an Asian, I approve. Nice quiver too. Beautiful traditional quiver. Don't let your camera angle. It's a bit too high up there. Can't blame you for that. Just watch the top of the screen, okay? All right, let's have a look here. I love how people are so focused when shooting. I like the focus. The mental focus is very good. The physical process will address, but the mental focus is very good. There's no distraction here. And you see people often either they're distracted and trying to show off, or they're super focused. I think the focus is good. But we can see, you can probably spot a few things which Abraham can fix up. Abraham, right? I'm assuming that I have your username. I'm assuming that's your name, so we'll go with that. Sorry, I should have asked. Oh, what the hell? that was a come on. you can't do that to us. You can't leave us hanging the last shot like that. What was that? That was surprising. All my recommendations are on the screen now. Okay, so let's talk the shot process. Oh man, that's like archery blue ball right there. Okay, let's get to our shot process. All right. So we're running out of time, so we're gonna nail this in one shot. Okay. So let's go through all the floors in one shot. Firstly, things are working well. Nice stance, open, relax, good body posture right there. That changes. Okay. So one thing I'll say right away: when you draw, your bow grip should not change. So you see here, you've got this. You're doing the hit me logo with your with the index finger pinching the thumb, and the outside fingers are 2/10. When you get to your full draw, that changes to your grip now. So that's something that's changing a lot. Look at that. All right, that should not be happening with your grip. That should definitely not be happening. So what you want to have a grip. Okay, you want to make sure whatever grip you're using, you keep it that way, alright? So, if you want to hold it like this, that's fine. You keep it around, keep it relaxed, that's fine. But keep these fingers relaxed. If you're doing that, you're defeating the purpose. That's 2/10 now. Your hand's tense. Same with this grip. You do a spear grip, that's 2/10. You want the fingers relaxed. Relaxed fingers means if you have your hand open, just stop. That's relaxed. Okay, there's no clenching, no extending. It's just relaxed. So on the grip, if you're shooting like this, you want to do it this way and hold on to the grip for retention. That's fine, but keep everything relaxed. If you want to keep on the bow, that's fine. Just keep it relaxed. Don't go out and then full draw and then in and then relax the hands and do that. Don't do that. Yeah, you want to make sure that things are consistent and you don't move that. All right. Next part we'll fix up. The stance is changing. Okay, so that's the first thing. We want to keep that solid. Next up, it's shoulder. Okay, we're leaning backwards a bit here. So the front shoulder is a little high compared to the rear shoulder. And you see me changing a bit here. What you should be doing, you want to get the shoulders in position before you draw. So we see the point at which you change. You want to do a second shot this time. Let's not overdo one shot. Okay? So that should not be coming up in the draw. There's no reason why I do that. So this up to this point, by the way, looking good. Yeah, loose grip, that's fine to start. This looks good. Okay? Very nice traditional style. Nice, powerful, open movements. And then we get to here. Wait. We get to here. And that looked alright until the shoulder comes up. Shoulder shouldn't come up. Alright, focus on keeping the shoulder down. And as the shot goes on, as you're making adjustments, whether you're aiming, whether you're squeezing this, that's popping up higher and higher. Okay, and you start to lean backwards. Look at the shot from begin to end. Begin to end. So this is nice and straight. I'd even lean forward just a bit because you tend to lean backwards in the shot. I'd lean a little forward before you start, so that way you compensate by equaling out. But at this point, that comes up, and then you lean backwards. That's the crucial flaw which you need to fix there. That's the golden arrow right there. That's what you need to fix. So I'll demonstrate this again. Is the bow too much? It doesn't look that heavy, to be honest, but it is a symptom. Leaning backwards is a symptom, but it's not necessarily the cause. I'm not sure how heavy it is, but just to illustrate the point here. So what Abraham is doing is we have the grip. Let's ignore the grip at the moment, but we're starting a very good strong draw. And as we get to draw, we start to lean backwards like that. Okay, that's what Abraham is doing. Alright, so don't forget to push forward and set the bow a little lower. Okay, set the elbow a little lower. So I think be a little aggressive on this, but we're starting that way. Shoulder down, and keep pushing with the front arm as you draw. Because if you don't push forward the front arm, the bow's controlling you. So no, we're not pushing forward. Let's say I'm keeping my arm relaxed. I'm going to pull back, and I'm going to lean back in the shot. Push forward with the front hand. Pressure point where it should be. Pressure there. Feel that. Push it through. Alright. Push forward and keep the shoulder down. Again. Push forward as you draw. 50-50. Push. And then you're good there. Alright. If you allow yourself to get controlled by the bow, you're going to lean back. Shoulder will turn upwards. That's a connection between how you start with the shoulder and how you compensate by remembering to push forward. Tom is exactly right. The bow is control of the archer. So this is C. I'm not sure what the weight is. It's not a bad shot either, but that's most likely the cause of the problem. Is where either you're struggling with the weight and you're leaning backwards, or you're not pushing forward enough and you're not opened up enough. Oh, did you film on Discord, Peter? I can check in Discord. I'll bring it up. Otherwise, we can do it next time. I've got plenty of viewers to go through. Alright, let's do our next couple. We're now on the Instagram side now. Whew. Let's go through over here. Alright, I'm actually opening the video separately. Alright, here we go. Next up, I know who this is. This is... I should open tabs. This is so Instagram usernames. That's a good figure. Alright, let's go over here. Can we full screen it? Yes, we can. Let's full screen it. Let's have a look-see. Very nice full screen. Is that a geologic? It is. Okay, it's fine. Bring your arrows with you. Thank you. Oh man, sorry. I'm gonna say this because this is the funniest thing I see when people send me form checks. Like, you leave your arrows in the most awkward places. So like, you do like one shot, and they're like, second shot. All right, so it's like you're hiding arrows, like you're hiding like and like you're hiding chocolate, so you don't like to be too tempted to shoot with that. So that's funny, but I'm glad he brought it forward with him. Oh my goodness, I was gonna crack it if he didn't bring the arrows with him. Okay, back to shooting. So it's a geologic. I'm not gonna judge. That's what's available. Bow's fine. It works. It teaches you archery. So let's see the technique. It's not too bad. Actually, all things considered, it's not too bad. So there are things I'll immediately fix up. Alright, I always say this with shooting low targets, and I should make a video about this at some point. When shooting your backyard at a low target, you've got to remember to lean forward. Alright, I keep on saying this. To most people this, by the way, if you know what I'm talking about with the arrows, just let me know, okay? Because that's something I always see with trad shooters, or backyard practice. So, again, I shoot in my backyard too at the moment because I can't go anywhere. But this is a problem most backyard shooters have, and that is simply because you're aiming lower. Sorry, you're aiming lower than what you used to. You go like that. Okay, you have this motion. So because you're doing this, that's too high. That's too high. That's too whatever. You're going this. Okay, your front shoulder's too high. You kind of like that. So what really happens, and this is more so with heavier bows. So light bows you can get away with, but heavier bows, you're putting a lot of strain on your rotator cuff. That's bad. You feel strain here. You don't want to push up this way. Our shoulders are freaking terrible at this way. You don't want to do it this way. Never this. So you want to keep it down and let the bone structure take it. Let the bones in your shoulder, to your shoulder blade take the weight, not this. So if you're shooting low, then lean forward. Okay? Pivot at the hips. Waist, that's what you're doing, okay? Not a little teapot, alright? That's what you want to do. You don't want to... that looks stupid. You don't want to go like up, down, up, down. You want to go lean forward, lean back. That's the optimal thing. You can lift upwards if you're going for higher distance or longer distance, but you don't want to go down like this and shoot down that way, because your alignment is completely off. Whoa, that was like aerobics if new. Holy crap, that was weird. But don't do that. Well, what you mean to say, Lookman, is that historical artwork shows arrows being left in a different battlefield in England, so archers had to go on a ship to go all the way back to England to resupply for each single arrow. Alright, that's one thing there. So that it's okay for light bow. It doesn't seem that bad because the draw is pretty good. This is actually almost picture perfect, but I would lean forward. It doesn't seem natural because you normally don't think about doing so, but tilt at the waist and get the front. It's gonna be a bit more aggressive, but that's the nature of shooting at a lower target. You have to get the body forward, otherwise this is gonna be very punishing for form later on. The second thing, this is a fairly light bow, so the control is good. So you're not controlled by the bow. The release is a little panicky, okay? It's kind of like you're at full draw, you're on target, but it's like, what do I do exactly? Sorry. Like, what do I do at this point? And what you should do, as I said before, execute the shot by pushing. The expansion is the go. Don't think, let go. Think, expand. You may as well get used to the right target form right now. Okay? So, at this point, I'm not going to use the bow. I said before, don't go, I'm on target. Release! Fire, shoot, whatever. Don't go, like, don't tell yourself to let go. Tell yourself to expand. That means push. Alright? That's my activation. When I'm shooting, especially barebow with no clicker, my activation is I'm ready to go. Push. Drive the shot forward rather than go, whoo, let go. The shot it might surprise you because you don't think about the release. The release happens by itself. the last conscious thought in your process is expand and follow through. You shouldn't need to think about the release. Now, this is something which is a bit more advanced, but like I said, you may as well learn it now. Because if you are doing this and you let go like that, that's going to be an uncontrolled release. So you're not going to show exactly where it's going to go, because that's going to inflict a string pluck. Sorry, you're going to pluck the string, which means it's going to be left and right movement there. It's not ideal. You'll be okay at short distance, so you're not doing badly. And missile form is okay, but the advanced feedback I will give you is tell yourself at this point before you let go, don't let go. Push with the front arm using your body, so the power comes from the body. Push, expand. All right, and that way you avoid that problem of the jerky release. Then think about the release. The release will happen anyway, but remember to activate by pushing. Okay, expand rather. But I say push because I push. I mentally push. But here, expand, push forward, and then shut will happen. Okay, if you do it that way, as you see, that's a very explosive release, and you'll find that's going to cause erratic problems. And even with the geologic, with the right arrows, you should hit the target every single time in the same spot if you do it right. Okay, next one. Some draw feedback. Anytime, just send me a video. Alright, that's done. Next up. We have, who's this? Oh, Burka. Alright. So we've got a couple for, oh, that's a lot of videos. So we'll open these up. Oh, crap. Okay. I should preload this. Alright. Because these are Instagram ones, and I can't open Instagram on desktop. So I'm using my Facebook Messenger to load all these. I can do that. Cool. Alright, I can open tabs. That makes more sense to me. Thank you, middle mouse button. Okay, let's watch. Who's this? I need names. Burka128. Alright, next. Alright, let's go to the front view first. These are short videos. Like the confidence. Nice bow. Ooh, control. Very nice. That's very nice. That is a good execution there. I wouldn't say there's anything wrong here. That is good practice. Alright, take a look here. So it's well rehearsed. He's shooting. I don't think it's KSL. Doesn't matter. Oh, that's not as good. Oh, alright. First shot was good. First shot was beautiful. Alright. First shot. Expand. Beautiful. That is picture perfect. This shot. It's not ready. I was overhyping. Now the difference is the draw length is different. It is so minute, but we're shooting with the clicker, which means that everything has to be millimeter perfect. So the first shot, I mean, I'm watching more carefully now. It's a bit of jittery there, right? It's a very slight thing. That's okay, but you're expanding. Okay, so we're in full draw, and we should be expand. Okay, the expansion is, remember, push forward from here, and then this should also come backwards. So the expansion is good. That's a nice explosive release, but it's good control, okay? So wham, that is a very good release. So you know that you're at the right distance here. I'm not sure, do you check your clicker? I want to see your eye movement. Coaches are weird, because we see these things. I suspect something you can do, alright? This is, I'm not sure we're doing this. I'm watching eye movement. There's like 1 pixel here, which is your eye. What I'm watching for is, do you know where your arrow is on the clicker? This is something a lot of people do, and something you might want to try yourself. Because you don't want to be in a position where you are too short and you don't realize it. It surprises you. That is a good expansion. Very good follow through. This one here, watch the draw. Okay, it draws, anchors, and let's go. Draw, in, bang. What happened there? This is very advanced stuff now. This draw is great. Inline, controlled, loaded, expanded. This draw, jittery, it's shaky here, but the loading process is broken. So we need to be confident on the draw. Get it back in one motion. That's at least a step there where you go, not sure. And because of that, the length is off. You're off by a millimeter. So when you get to the anchor point, whoop, there we go, exploded. All right, that was way before you were ready. Might still be a good shot because your brain will compensate for any sudden changes. But that is the draw between these two is different. So you want to control the draw. You don't have to make it slow. You want to get it back there. Okay, so because the draw is different, the alignment is slightly off, and that completely surprised you. And that's why I said you might want to check where your arrow is. At some point in the draw, okay, when you're loading, okay, get your eyes to flick down at the tip of the arrow to see exactly where it is. The sweet spot is when the clicker is just touching the bulge of your arrow tip. So the arrow tip, you have a bullet point, there's a slight bulge. You want the clicker to be on that bulge, and that you just have to squeeze in 2 millimeters and you're through. Here, I think you're slightly past the clicker. You can't see it here, of course, but that shot there was too quick, and you weren't ready for it. Let's do a different angle. Good shoulder alignment there. See, that's how you do it, Tom. Right? That's how we get this position there. There's a bit of F to get through. Let's watch it again. Take lessons here, people. That's the set position. Set up. Shoulders in alignment. Then we draw. Eliza watches you. This is what you should be doing, Eliza. See? That's what we mean. We all learn from each other. Excellent. Before we start drawing, we're in. We draw. We anchor. And that's still controlled. Holy crap, that's a nice noise. That's loud as F, but that is a nice sound. Oh, he's Turkish. Ah, that makes a lot of sense. Okçuluk. Very nice. Man, Turkish archery is so good at the moment in the modern scene. Not bad, not bad. Okay, that's control. Okay, so you're working hard for it. Watch your length. Okay, that's my advice for you. All right, let's do one more view, the back view. This is the topless one. Ooh, okay. Oh, that's in a little limp there. But you're doing good. You're really doing really well. Like you know what your shoulders are doing. I feel that can come back a little further. Oh, you're doing alright there. But there's a difference between a shot where you have a micro expansion on the way through versus being too far on the clicker, and I think that's what you need to watch out for here. And this is the thing which showcases the biggest difference. This shot, the first shot in this sequence, is sweet. It's controlled. It's purposeful. It's deliberate. That is picture perfect. Your coach will be exceptionally happy with that. Do it 100 times. This one here will be thinking, oh, looking good. And, wait, what? That is what you need to watch out for. So, I think the problem for you is it's just a millimeter off between each draw. That's you're basically pushing perfection now. That's how good you are with your basic form. So, my advice as you're going through and getting more confidence in your process, have a step where you visually check with your eyes where the arrow is in relation to your clicker. Because if it's on the bulge, you know you're in the same spot each time. Otherwise, it might be too far forward, and therefore you're squeezing more than you think you have to, or it's too far back, and you squeeze and it goes off. So, that's my advice to you. Holy crap, that is a sweet video. Well done. I think we've got one more to go. We'll take questions a bit later. If you have any questions for me right now, it's time to ask. Because I think we're down to our last form check, and then we'll take some random questions, and then we are good to go. We have a thumb draw, by the way. We are live with thumb draw. All right. So this is from Gabriel. He was with us last time as well. Let me check which video he's showcasing because he sent to me a while ago. That's from the 8th of March. Was that where I was? Yep, okay, so we'll see him shoot. Wait, is it thumb draw or am I making things up? Let's do what? Oh, we play full screen. Okay, so let's see. So he's been injured. Let's watch him shoot and then we'll judge. So we get the full screen open here. This is not from thing. What about watching the clicker? Any benefit? You don't want to watch the clicker because the clicker's already there. You're not going to move it, right? What you want to do is you want to see where the arrow is. The clicker's going to go off any moment. You want to see not all the way through. You look at the target, and when you draw, you look down, see where's the arrow, and then look back up because the arrow's right there. Squeeze, tick, it goes off. You don't need to watch the clicker. You just want to know if you're not sure, because a lot of people shoot confidently without looking at the clicker. That's fine, but some people just need a double check to see that they're in the right spot. Otherwise, you have that millimeter off problem. Back to Gabriel. Play. Let's put sound on. No, he's had an injury before. And the foundation form's okay. Nice straight posture, good stance there. And he's working with the process, so I'm not sure what the injury exactly was. He mentioned it later on. I might pause this. What was the injury? So I've injured my drawing shoulder because of the draw weight. So he's shooting. This is what he shot last time. This is back in February. Sound on. So he's shooting. Is that a recurve or horsebow? I can see. I think it's rehabbing. That's why. Yeah, it's horsebow. Not Asiatic though. Yeah, so that's a high. Oh yeah, you can see the draw weight. I'm not sure what the draw weight is. That's why I think I was cringing last time I saw this on the live stream. As you can see, he's struggling a lot with the draw weight. There's got harder going, but his draw was too high. Now, did he say he had an injury? So it's got it's got an impingement and neck sprain. Oh, I mean it's not permanent, but it freaking hurts. Ooh, yeah, 23-pounder draw length. That's where he's shooting right here. Yeah, oh, that's gonna be a tough struggle. I mean, I can't be harsh on your form because when it hurts, it hurts. Okay, now that said, good rehab, perfect form can help with rehab. Because good form will make the shot easier. So I'm not going to be too hard on this. Is that an Amon Amath shirt? Nice. Okay, so I'm not sure if you're incorporating Asiatic form in the process or whether this is how you normally shoot. But if you're shooting barebow with this kind of bow, that's a little too high. And maybe because your shoulders are injured, so that's why you need to do this, and that's fine. But for people watching, it's a bit too high for a shot. This is more like, you know, Japanese Kyudo rather than with barebow. But if you're shooting Asiatic, maybe using that's fine. But I'd keep this a little more solid. Again, you're kind of mixing some styles here. We're creeping forward a bit and more. So in this particular process, just be careful. You wanna. This feels like a Japanese draw, with a modern recurve. It's still funny. But you want to, even for Japanese draw, you want to consolidate your anchor. You want to make sure you expand backwards, outwards, rather than collapse inwards. And that might be an injury thing there. You can see your arms twitch, you're moving in. So that's kind of a clause. It's a nice explosive release, but the setup is a little tough because you are making a wide motion, but you haven't actually reached the anchor point and you're collapsing the shot there. But do bear in mind, if you're injured, that's going to be a factor there. So try to keep it solid and keep it going outwards. Let's double check the message here. If I give advice to the audience, now that I have experience of heavy draw weight, I knew I should have put as much caution as you taught in my approach, because it wrecked. Oh no. Oh, I hate being right. I know. I told you so. We saw that before. That's a very rough execution. It's painful sometimes. I didn't know to tell me I told you so. I'm sorry, Gabrielle. I try. But you're right. It's such a good lesson. Don't shoot a bow too heavy without technique. Lead to injury. Oh man, we'll watch this a bit later here. But we really have to emphasize. really have to emphasize that shooting heavy draw weight doesn't mean that you need to be strong. The main thing is that you have to have technique, okay? And that's what this is echoed in the paper Beyond Strength by Blake Cole and Justin Marks. They've been shooting Asiatic war bows. And you see the training routine and so on. But the key factor isn't strength, it's technique. With bad technique, you can injure yourself on a light bow just as much as a heavy bow. And that's why you need to be careful of what you are doing. If you do it wrong, and you know, I know it's controversial right now about what's right and wrong, but I'll say it plainly. If you do it wrong and you put pressure on the wrong muscles, then you risk injury, and that's what happened to Gabriel. It's a lesson learned. I hope he recovers quickly. We never want to see people injure themselves in archery, but technique is far more important than strength. You know, the people who shoot heavy bows are well built. Yes, they're very conditioned, they're trained, they eat well, but you know, and the average person can pull a 70-pound bow. With the right technique, you can do this fine. But with the wrong technique, you're kind of brute forcing it. You're kind of using the wrong muscles to get this, you know, done. So don't do what Gabriel did. It's a nice lesson learned. So let's see his rehab. Let's see him shoot. Sound on. Now, forgive me. I live in Australia. What's this white stuff? That's I don't know, but that's has he carved a path to his defense, right? That's great. Outdoor shooting the cold. All right, now this is Japanese style, I'm pretty sure. Wait, no, it's not. He's working hard. I'll tell you that. Give him credit, Gabriel. Well done. Okay, this is how the Japanese start. We call this. This isn't the official term. Oh, Gabriel's here. Yes, Gabriel's awesome. Right, yeah, lovely, good lesson learned. I'm using a Japanese style, Gabriel, while you're here. Right, so we call this hugging the tree. All right, so we learn to hold the bow. I have a bow here. All right, so when we learn Kyudo, the form is like you've got to the stance is slide forward, slide back, have the feet spread apart. When you hold the bow, you grip it a certain way, and then you have to hold it this way first. All right, you hold it's hug the tree. Then lift it, point the hand outwards like that. So then you go from here, you go that way. Then you come, you're still hugging the tree, right? So up that way, point, come in like that, and then full draw. Oh, it feels good. Actually, that reminds me a lot of Kyudo. Oh, good times, good times. But that's very, very reminiscent of Kyudo style. But with Kyudo, if you're doing an Asiatic Kyudo draw, it's actually a very wide motion. So, again, stance. I can't learn this. This is drilled in. I've barely done Kyudo. I've learned it like one day. It's drilled in. So, grip. And it's thumb draw, of course, but I'm using my fingers at the moment. And then, okay, hug the tree. Lift. Turn. That way. And then right down as far as possible. So it's actually a downward motion. Pulling downwards like that. So, if we're starting low... We're starting here, and we go low like this. That's not really Kyudo, so it's a bit of a hybrid style you've got there. It also might be, I'm not sure what your injury is like, so I'm not sure that's limiting your movement. So if it is, of course, work what you can. But it does remind me a lot of Kyudo, which is an amazing reference. Yeah. What was your draw weight, Gabrielle? So the bow you used before, what's your draw weight? I missed it before, so I'll just double check with that. But let's watch Gabriel again. But I was well done for pushing through. It's really hard to come back from injury. I'm thankful I haven't been injured before with archery, but it's very hard to push through like this. So well done in your discipline. That's more important than anything else. Yeah, I can see a bit of struggle there with the lighter bow. My recommendation at this stage, Gabrielle, is kind of maybe stick with the style that you want to use, because the styles are optimized for the bows they use. This setup with the Kyudo draw is best used with Yumi, with Kyudo. They're designed to do this. if you're shooting this, you might want to adopt a more conventional draw. But again, that's an injury thing. If that's limiting you, then do what works. But your execution seems okay here, right? So looking at this video here, after all the setup, it's not the optimal setup, but you're working hard to get this done there. And the shot comes pretty cleanly. I can't criticize you there. I think that's a pretty good focus. At least it's very consistent. You're kind of like you're using a war bow stance on like a 20-pound bow. We're doing it right there. Yeah, no, you're focusing on the right muscle expansion, so you're making it work. Just make sure you don't like overdo things in your muscles. Yeah. So my question mark is how much of it is injury and how much of it is technique. So look here. Sound on. Front view. It's funny how we see things different from different angles. Because the back view looked okay, but now we see a lot of movement in the front there. So, yeah, I think largely try to pick a draw which you want to adopt. That's definitely Kudo grip with a Mediterranean draw. This is fascinating to watch and learn from each other like this, because we can recognize what the styles are, what the hallmarks are of techniques. You reckon one day should do Kudo? I mean, I've tried it, but I haven't actually shot a Yumi. I'm not trained to do so. There's definitely an Asiatic influence here. It's interesting. I'm not sure which the best, but it's interesting. But I definitely try to consolidate. If you can consolidate, I'll consolidate on the anchor. I think it's kind of a weird 50-50 hybrid, and I don't think it's the best of both worlds. I think it's the kind of like the mid-range of both worlds. I mean, at this point, I just get straight to the anchor point and shoot, but I'm not sure what you're trying to do here. It was interesting. We'll leave it that. We'll leave it there. Alright, and I think that's our last form check for the session. Well, it's been like 2 hours, like 1.5 hours, not bad. Whew. Very nice. Okay, so take questions. Alright, last questions, guys. I mean, we managed to get through like 6 or 7 form checks in an hour and a half, and we normally like waffle on a bit, but we have more to go through, and I hope we did more efficiently. Yeah, you're injured, neck sprain, impingement, yeah. But yeah, like I said, if it's an injury thing, then just take it easy on yourself, do what you can. Yeah, I mean, mixing forms can be good, but you also want to make sure you don't overdo it too. Because sometimes if you're blending forms and you use the wrong form, the wrong situation, it might aggravate injuries rather than fix them. So just be careful about how you modify and adapt forms in. All right. Well, I think we'll end it there. Hopefully you've enjoyed our live stream. And of course, in our current quarantine situations, hopefully you're getting enough shooting for yourself out there. And I know that for those of us who are having trouble getting coaching, then this might be your next best choice. And hopefully the advice I can give you through this medium is going to be good enough to keep you moving forward. I don't replace your coach. I'm here to give you extra set of advice and perspective. But hopefully, for those who've seen the videos, you've gotten something out of it. And hopefully, those who are watching have also benefited from learning from each other. Of course, we're here not to judge, but to learn, to develop, to improve, and to push ourselves on that archery journey. So, thank you, everybody. Hopefully, you stay safe wherever you are, especially in this current time of crisis. For those who've been quarantined, do the right thing, stay home, set up a space where you can exercise and practice and train. It's been tough. I know I've been losing it a bit, being cooped up in the house and not going anywhere. I've been really following the quarantines. But it's pretty tough for everybody. And remember that we all need to support each other. We're our community. Help when you can, and hopefully we see this through. Anyway, stay safe wherever you are. BT Dan, is a black hunter a good beginner bow? Not necessarily. It's a good bow. I wouldn't say it's a beginner bow. It's just a bow. I've got it right here, just to show you. So in case you're wondering, that's the black hunter. Depends on where you get it from. It's pretty affordable. That's pretty good. But that's the black hunter. It's a good bow. It's solid. Nothing wrong with it. Is it good for beginners? It can be used by beginners. So it's one, if you can afford it, well, they get a good draw weight that you can use, and it's just as good as any. Anyway, that's our last minute question. Thank you for watching, and hopefully we'll see you all next time. If I can show some outro music, let's say outro music. Okay, that way we can make it less awkward. Outro music, here we go. Come on, this is awkward. There we go, outro music. You reckon I need some better outro music, right? Anyway, stay safe where you are. It's Nu Sensei. I'll see you next time.